Good morning. The Committee on Criminal Justice will come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Chair?
Here.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. Representatives Graves?
Here.
Kurtz?
Here.
Colton?
Here.
McBroom? O'Brien? Here. Kesto? Oaks? Present. Robinson? Keevala?
Here.
Banks? Mr. Chair, you have 7 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much. At this time, we need a motion to adopt the minutes of the June 5th, 2013 meeting. That motion's made by Representative Graves. Hearing no objections, the minutes are adopted as printed. Senator?
Senate Judiciary will be called to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Jones.
Here.
Senator Shootmaker.
Here.
Senator Rocca. Senator Beda.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have 3 members present and a quorum.
Very good. At this time, I will ask for a motion for the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Seeing no objection, the committee moves unanimously,
People over in that corner.
and will now turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Just got a few housekeeping items that I'd like to make clear to everybody in the room before we begin today's hearing. There are 3 overflow rooms, rooms 502, 521, and 327. The overflow rooms contain televisions where you can watch the proceedings. Another thing that we will strive to do as much as possible today, for those of you who plan on testifying, I'm going to be using the comment cards, the testimony cards that you have filled out. But given the amount of potential folks who want to testify, we're going to create kind of an on-deck circle for those of you who are next up in line. That will help you, give you a notice that you'll be coming up next or coming up soon, especially if you are in one of the overflow rooms. That will be very helpful to get ready to come forward, and that will help us with our time today. Yeah, Senator.
I want to notify you out of respect that at about 10 to 11, the senators will have to leave to go to a caucus meeting, and then at noon we are voting. We will return at 1:30 if we're out of session. But I wanted to make sure you understood that. Also, I'd just like to say we're here to address the Supreme Court ruling and bring Michigan into compliance, but the Senate Judiciary will do so keeping in mind that the safety of Michigan citizens comes first. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A couple other procedural items. We will be breaking for lunch at approximately noon today, or as close to it, and then reconvening at approximately 1:30. We do anticipate that we will have enough testimony that will more than likely take us through the balance of the day. As the Senator pointed out, this is we're going to be taking testimony today on a bill package that is going to bring a lot of emotions to the table. And all of us up here, the reps and the senators, we have families, we have husbands and wives and children, family members just like you do. And but the fact that we are state reps and state senators doesn't make us any smarter than anybody else. It does mean, though, that every other year or so we have to take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the state of Michigan. And that also includes the decisions that are rendered by our courts. And in this case, the Supreme Court, in the Miller versus Alabama decision, rendered a decision that we in the state of Michigan must deal with. And we must seek to accommodate our laws and our procedures in such a way that we respect the Miller decision. We may disagree with it, but we have an oath to uphold, that we have to comply with the law and the way the law is interpreted by our courts. I recognize that there is no law that we can write that will ever return a life or bring back someone's liberty and freedom. But what we must do is strike a balance between the decision that we have been handed down and the proper administration of justice in Michigan. So today, I hope that we will have an open and fair discussion about the very difficult issues that we are about to confront. And I hope that everyone, at the end of the day, is confident that they have had their opportunity to be heard. I will do my best, and Senator Jones will do his best to accommodate everyone. But we do have many, many people who wish to testify today, and we will respect your time, but I also hope that you will in turn keep in mind that many of your friends and colleagues also wish to speak as well. We will try to keep everyone to 5 minutes. And I know that goes by fast, but please prepare yourself for that, and we'll try to hold you to it. But again, if there's any point that you feel that you want to testify or perhaps not, please let us know, and we'll certainly accommodate your wishes. That being said, we are taking testimony only today. We are not voting on these bills. I want to make that very clear. This testimony that we will hear from you today is very critical in our deliberations as we move forward and try to take action on this bill package. So the bills before us, there are 3 of them. House Bill 4806, 4807, 4808, and it's my understanding that we will not be taking testimony today on 4809. So we will be looking at the first 3 bills only. Senator, anything you'd like to add?
Just that I also have a bill bringing the state into compliance with this ruling. We'll have hearings on that in the Senate Judiciary in September. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, on the bill package 4806, 07, and 08, I'd like to call up State Representative Joe Haveman and also State Representative Margaret O'Brien.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to both chairmen and committees. Chairman Jones, if I can start off by saying thank you for your comment and regarding the safety of Michigan residents, that it should be and always is our paramount responsibility. I thank you to the committee for taking testimony today on House Bill 4806. In my first term in the legislature, I served on the Judiciary Committee. I believe we served together, Senator. And I sat through a similar hearing dealing with this issue on juvenile life. I remember the painful testimony on both sides of the issue. I remember children telling stories about their parents who they had lost to a violent death. And I remember parents telling stories about their child that they wish they could get a second chance for. I assume that you're going to hear similar stories today. Since that hearing 5 years ago, the tough issue has become a little more clear. We now have the Supreme Court decision that states what many of us have always believed. There should be a difference between how we sentence juvenile from how we sentence adults, even when it involves the loss of a human life. For the past 6 months, a small work group has met to try to find a solution to how to codify what the Supreme Court has ruled. That work group has included the prosecutors, the ACLU, the probate judges, defense attorneys, the AG's office, Department of Corrections, senators or senators' staff, House members, and Republicans and Democrats. Now, I want to first acknowledge that I have never experienced and cannot begin to understand the pain that families of victims have gone through. For these victims and their families, there is no second chance. But for the life of me, I can't understand how incarcerating a boy 17 years old or younger, without even considering the chance that he could someday mature and change, is sound public policy. And frankly, for those people who care in this room, I don't even think it's sound politics. Some people would like you to believe that passing this bill means that we would be releasing 360 cold-blooded murderers back to the streets. That's not what the Supreme Court ruled, and it's not what this bill does. The Supreme Court ruled that we cannot have a blanket policy that treats all juvenile life sentences the same without considering aggravating and mitigating circumstances. This bill only states that after resentencing to a minimum of 15 or 25, up to 60 years, just maybe some of these men and women, after a psychological test and after a parole hearing, maybe could have a second chance. In my time in the legislature, I've visited most of our prisons. Every visit has taught me something about what we do right and where we may perhaps improve our correction system. One of those visits stands out from the rest. A couple of years ago, I visited the Lakeland Prison in Coldwater. I met a man with a life sentence who went to prison when he was 20 years old. When I met him, he was 70. Now, he had accepted his lot in life, and he knew that someday he would die in prison. Overall, he was in pretty good spirits. But what I can't get out of my mind is what a waste it was to have this little old man spend the past 50 years behind bars at our expense. I don't understand how the public good was served by having us spend over $1 million to have him die in prison. He didn't pay his debt back to society. He just created a bigger one. There's an old cliche that says that we should differentiate between who we're scared of and who we're mad at. I'd like to change that to say that we should differentiate between those we truly believe are evil from those who are just plain stupid. When you're a kid, your mind works like a kid. And based on my own teen years, believe me, I know what stupid was. I was fortunate enough to not get into the kind of trouble that these men and women did as teenagers. But I was also blessed with two good parents and a school and a church that kept me on the straight and narrow. And even with that, some of us still screwed up. Committee, I'm asking you to consider this bill. I'm not suggesting that these men and women should be set free. I'm suggesting that a small number of them may someday deserve a second look. Thank you.